Today's video is sponsored by Surfshark. Towards the end of last year, Pinterest released their 2023 trend predictions. A lot of the list wasn't so appealing to me personally, but ROMCOM CORE immediately caught my attention. Of course, it shouldn't really come as any surprise as we continue to take inspiration from the 2000s, and a lot of the trends we're seeing these days have a very soft, romantic feel to them, but packaging them all together and slapping a cute label on it is honestly brilliant, especially if you're looking to lure in the fellow fashion and film lovers like me. I mean, come on, of course I want to dress like a main character from some of my favorite comfort movies, but I will say to me there is quite a clear distinction between a traditional rom-com and what I would consider a teen film that is a rom-com, especially when it comes to the costume design. So today I am focusing on the more traditional rom-coms. If you guys want a separate part for the teen films, let me know. I'd love to include ones like 10 Things I Hate About You, John Tucker Must Die, What a Girl Wants, and your pick of any Hilary Duff movie ever. If you're anything like me now, you're probably just in the mood to go and watch your favorite cheesy film, but what if it's not available on Netflix? Or is it? Today's video is sponsored by Surfshark, a VPN, aka a virtual private network. I know, not something that the rom-com girlies had to worry about way back in the day, but now is a necessity if you want to be able to access content from around the world and also protect yourself while you're browsing online. So with Surfshark, I'm able to quickly and easily change my location settings and then instantly have access to a ton more content that's not usually available in my region. In my fantasy, I'm a little jet setter depending on my mood that day. Do I need to head over to London, Germany? But you'll figure out what suits your taste best. Perhaps you'll even end up coming over and joining me in Australia. But even when you're done with your binge watching session and are just generally browsing online, Surfshark still have you covered by ensuring your safety online. They do this through various methods, including adding an extra layer of protection when you're on public Wi-Fi, or by preventing companies and bots from tracking your personal activity, amongst others. And Surfshark actually offer unlimited devices under just one account, so you will always feel safe. You can use my code SPOTLIGHT for 83% off plus 3 extra months for free, and since Surfshark offer a 30-day money-back guarantee, you can try it all risk-free via the link on screen and down below in the description box. For me, 13 going on 30 has endless rewatch potential. Jenna is just such a likable, wholesome main character, and styling-wise, it comes from quite a unique perspective of how a 13-year-old girl thinks an adult would dress. And thanks to that, we get more of a girly and playful aesthetic, which I love, and I tried to stick to taking inspiration from those softer looks. And even more specifically, this baby pink outfit, I know, probably very shocking, but I am actually a very big fan of the color pink. The easy breezy midi skirt is definitely an essential in any Jenna Rinks inspired closet, and particularly in a dainty floral like this. I opted for this bolero type knit rather than a regular cardigan. Either would look cute, but I do think this updates the look just a tad. Another way you could go about that is opting for a funkier sort of shoe, or maybe trying out a more playful 2000s hairstyle to pair this with. I'm sorry if I disappointed any of you who are expecting the iconic Versace party dress, but I feel like that has been done to death to the point where it's almost reserved as a Halloween costume now. One of my personal favorite fictional closets would have to be Brittany Murphy's character Molly Gunn in Uptown Girls. Just such a carefree, effortless style that still feels trendy, but also a little bit quirky. And I think that gets to shine through even more considering her co-star is a child that has this polar opposite, ultra preppy style. Sarah Edwards was the costume designer, and when talking about Molly Gunn's style, she said she was true to her party girl heiress status. She appears to not own any normal daytime clothes. The clothes were telling the story of someone who would just get up every morning and think, this is what I should put on. She had no real life experience in the real world. And I'm not gonna lie, that feels a little bit like a personal read. It does. But we love a girl who buys into her own delusional fantasy world. And speaking of fantasies, in the perfect world, I would already own this spring-summer 2002 Moschino dress. She is everything I've ever wanted in a dress and then some, but sadly, this is not the perfect world, so I do not have it. But I am going to be taking inspiration from another one of her iconic dresses, this blue marine number. And her style in general is kind of on brand for the blue marine girl, and trust and believe, if I was rich in my 20s in the early 2000s, I would have been too. But alas, alas, here I am in 2023 in my $2 thrifted dress. The beading work and overall silhouette is what reminded me of hers, but that's probably where the comparisons end. My color palette is more vibrant and the pattern is kind of just paint blobs rather than the ultra detailed flowers and fans. But you know what? She is still a gem to me and I feel fabulous. Any chance I get to break her out, I will. Another outfit of hers I really wanted to try and recreate is the overall dress or denim pinafore. I'm not sure what the original source was, but I heard on a podcast that it is actually the costume designer's little sisters that was made with her babysitter back in the 70s or 80s. My pair was originally just regular old overalls which we turned into a skirt. There's so many tutorials for it on TikTok, and then literally just had to use whatever leftovers were in the craft box at home to put this design on it. Some of that stuff have been sitting there for years and years. So with that in mind, I do think it would be even cuter if I actually sourced new materials for it, but all things considered, I think it turned out really good. I feel like a cute, fun, eclectic kindergarten teacher. Some actors are just synonymous with certain genres. Rom-coms are no exception. One that comes to mind for me is Kate Hudson, and I feel like she inadvertently played a role in this resurgence of the rom-com aesthetic. Of course, a lot of these trends were already coming back, but once that "You're So Vain" soundbite started trending on TikTok, that's when the girlies stepped in and were like, okay, we are officially dubbing this rom-com core. And while How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days might be her most popular role, obviously with the stunning yellow dress, I actually think there's a lot of wearable inspiration to take from Raising Helen. There's definitely a simplicity there that feels very realistic. For example, when we do see her at work, most of the time she's wearing an all black outfit, and when she's at home with the kids, she's wearing casual zip-up hoodies. But still a bunch of key items that we're seeing trend right now, for example, the Ugg boots from the poster, and this look I took inspiration from with the cargo maxi skirt. Last year we saw it used in a lot of street style and utilitarian styles, but I think it's a really nice juxtaposition to opt for just the dainty button-down blouse, and it still kind of keeps that relaxed cool girl effect with the sneakers. I think her shirt is more of a baby pink sort of shade, and I thought I could bring that into the look with an extra layer. I decided to go for just a zip-up hoodie. Like I said, another one of her wardrobe staples. You'll probably notice more as we go on, but I did try to get a range of different styles from within the genre rather than just sticking to the really traditional, simple sort of looks that Kate Hudson often does sport in her films. But because I was so focused on finding more fun looks, I suppose, I felt like I was missing out on some of the staple pieces. So I started styling a couple of looks that didn't actually have any particular characters in mind, but just the overall concept. For this one, I obviously lent more into the slightly bohemian sort of vibes that we saw a lot in the mid-2000s. I think one of the main styling points for this is working with brown accessories rather than black. I think once the weather starts to warm up for the northern hemisphere, we'll be seeing more of these sort of styles, like the fitted tops with the low-rise midi skirts. This will probably be like the new coastal granddaughter or the clean girl aesthetic revisited. And actually, after I put this one together, I was like, it kind of ended up giving Kate Hudson in How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days in the final scene. And also I think they use it a lot for the promo material. Not exact, but definitely some key elements there. So I figured we were on the right track. Another thing that pops up a lot in these films is a casual workwear sort of style. Everyone seemingly has like a creative corporate job. So we get to see a lot of low or mid-rise trousers teamed with something basic on top. The ones I've got aren't quite as dressy, but I really love the vertical stripe. I feel like that was very big at the time. Another staple has to be the date outfit. I feel like you can't go wrong with a little black dress, especially for this time period if there's some sort of floral detail to it as well. Then teaming it with the under the knee boots and then your choice of outerwear. Such a classic. I feel like you could have seen this in the 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and now. I think if you were to go out tonight and see someone wearing this, they'd style it with the little fitted moto jacket. I don't have one of those though, so mine is more of a slouchy, oversized fit, but that almost feeds more into the fantasy of you've wrapped things up, your date offers you his jacket as he rides you home on his motorbike. I don't know, which of course works more for not the edgy girl per se, but kind of like the cool New York City it girl. But you can actually take that exact same outfit formula and apply it to more of an innocent country girly girl look as well. I've just switched out to a more springtime appropriate color palette with the pastel florals in the dress, a cute crop denim jacket, and I did go for white cowboy boots just to follow that exact same outfit formula on the shoes as well, but you could totally switch it out for just a little sandal too. I feel like I could be either one of these characters depending on my mood that day, but let me know which one you guys prefer. Okay, I'm actually really intrigued. How many of you guys would consider yourself like rom-com connoisseurs? Have you seen practically everything on the list, or have you only seen a few of the iconic ones? I feel like I'm somewhere in between, but I was shocked that I didn't realize this sooner. These images of Drew Barrymore live on my Pinterest page, and I always thought it was just her own personal style, street style snaps. No, this is literally from a rom-com. How did I not know this? I actually still haven't watched it. I think it's kind of hard to find on any streaming platforms, I guess because it is older and less popular. I don't know, maybe there's some cult following out there for it and I'm just really late to the party, but I'm still including it because it felt like the perfect opportunity to finally recreate these outfits. Let's start with this look because I've been seeing it a lot on TikTok over the last 6 months or so. Ever since that whimsy goth sort of aesthetic came in, I saw this referenced heaps. Considering I've had this red velvet coat for years, I'm kind of surprised it's taken me this long to try the outfit. For me, one velvet item is plenty, so I switched out the skirt. I threw on my chunkiest 90s-esque platforms, tied the scarf through my hair, and luckily I already had a somewhat similar transparent bag, which I think is a pretty universal experience for a lot of K-pop stans. I got to use that same bag in her next outfit as well. This one is equally as fun, but definitely a bit more playful with the colors. It's kind of a best of both worlds moment because I am combining two of her looks. Like I said, I haven't actually seen this one, but if I had to guess on the outfit alone, I would assume her character is giving manic pixie dream girl realness, which to be fair, more often than not makes for a fantastic fashion moment, and 10 out of 10 would wear this again. Now feels like the time to discuss one of the poster girls of the manic pixie dream girl trope, of course, Zooey Deschanel in 500 Days of Summer. It's kind of crazy to me how frequently the visuals in this film are referenced, because when you step back, it doesn't really feel like anything special, but I think that's almost the beauty to it. It feels like a classic. Just from the styling, you can't really tell what era it was, although I guess it does hint towards millennial hipster a little bit. And the costume designer herself did say that was intentional. She didn't want the fashions to be distracting, and she also wanted Summer's wardrobe to be affordable, the sort of things the character would have thrifted and constantly be re-wearing. I'm not gonna lie, this isn't my personal style, so it was a little bit of a struggle for me, and I don't have a particular outfit I'm recreating, just something that I think we would see in her wardrobe. I knew that at least one item had to feature some blue because that was her key color, and I think these polka dot shorts do the trick perfectly. Totally something I would expect to see in her closet. I kept it classic with a button-down cardigan and teaming some stockings under the shorts. However, I could not bring myself to team it with a ballet flat. I'm sorry, but I just needed a little bit of height, especially when you're working with shorts. Like, I just can't do it. Remember when I was talking about actors that are synonymous with rom-coms? Cameron Diaz, J-Lo. Well, one name that I feel like is sadly often left off the list but is iconic is Gabrielle Union. The way I still have beef with Dwayne Wade for cheating on this woman. The film of hers I chose for today though is Breaking All the Rules, and if you haven't seen it, please at least go and watch the trailer because it is just the epitome of 2000s rom-com, even down to the voiceover. It's not just the trailer that perfectly captures that moment in time though, it is of course also the outfits. This one in particular I had to recreate because it's the sort of thing I loved as a kid. I have always had an addiction to hats. Team that with the coat and the bootcut jeans in these beautiful warm tones, and it seems like something you would see on a Brad Stoll as well. I felt like I wasn't quite pulling off all of the plain solid color items, so I decided to add a little bit of interest by either switching the hat out for a patterned one or just adding some extra interest with either a skinny scarf or statement necklace, both of which I think would still be totally on brand for the character and also very true to the time. I don't know if it's just the side of the internet I'm on, but I feel like one of the most circulated rom-com looks is Julia Roberts in Notting Hill. Personally, if I had to choose a Julia Roberts film, I think I would be leaning more towards My Best Friend's Wedding. That is one of my favorite rom-coms of all time, and she does have a few suit looks in that film as well, but I feel like this one is just a little bit more casual, especially with the addition of the extra accessories. It's really just a bunch of classic pieces paired together, which is what the 90s did so well. A white graphic tee, a leather blazer, and a pair of slacks. Totally the sort of thing you could expect to see from Matilda Just Surf and her brand. Moving on from something we would see on our Matilda minions to something we would see on our Bella bots, because I am convinced Bella Hadid finds her fashion inspiration from Along Came Polly. I kid you not, because Jennifer Aniston's character is spotted in Adidas sneakers teamed with skirts, track jackets teamed with knitted scarves, and just generally that carefree attitude towards getting dressed that you expect from an it girl. I couldn't decide, so I ended up doing 2 looks. The first one did indeed have to include the track jacket. This colorful graphic tee I thrifted is one of my favorites in my wardrobe. It always kind of reminds me of hysteric glamour sort of vibes, which I think would be an essential in both Polly's wardrobe and Bella's. The only, I guess, branded sneakers I have are all neutral, but I really wanted to continue on with a pop of color on the feet, so this is what I had to work with. But honestly, I feel like a true it girl can make anything work. The other look is much less Bella-ified, if you will, but it's very memorable, I guess because it is used for a lot of the promotional material too. The low-rise jeans are still very scary to me personally, but I felt like I needed to get out of my comfort zone and try it for this look. The top, however, I am in love. It's this little bedazzled halter in this gorgeous eggplant sort of shade. She has this extra layer, which I think is like a knitted shawl. I didn't have anything similar, but I had a couple of different scarf options I was trying to play around with. Obviously, a lot of these rom-com related trends that are coming back are from the ultra girly style, but I am curious if just the good old-fashioned cute top and jeans is also gonna make a return, because I feel like this was the absolute go-to for any sort of party or night out look, and I feel like this outfit could potentially make a good case for it. A big trend we saw come through last year was Barbiecore, and I feel like Legally Blonde almost fits more so under that category, but I would argue the fact that Elle Woods is forever an icon, and if I want to include her in today's video, I will. So obviously she is very well known for the over-the-top all pink looks, and I totally could create an outfit like this. I have a cute little pink summer sun frock that I thrifted, but I feel like this would give more Elle Woods still in California pre-law school. And one of my favorite things about the film is that she doesn't have to have a makeover to turn into the perfect law student, and she's still very true to herself. And throughout the whole film, I feel like it's a misconception that we never see her wear casual attire, but we totally do, or at least what she and myself would consider casual, I guess. One of my favorites is when she goes with Paulette to help get her dog back. I just think that the flower crochet beanie is iconic, and she actually re-wears this in another scene as well. My outfit ended up even a little bit more casual than hers because I didn't have a beautiful maxi coat. Instead, I had to reuse a cardigan from earlier, but because we kept the same color combo and of course the iconic beanie, I feel like any true fan would instantly recognize your reference still. I think out of all the movies today, this is the one I have rewatched the most. I even just watched it the other day while I was preparing the outfits, and I honestly never get sick of it. I'd love to hear what your favorite rom-coms are though, and what characters you think are the most stylish. Don't forget to check out today's video sponsor, Surfshark. The link will be in the description box along with all of the outfit details, all of the good stuff. But thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you really, really soon. Bye!